You just spoke about the USSR, you spoke about Pak-Saudi relations, you spoke about Operation Sindoor. I want to get to a very technical question, and you've written on this topic very much in the last few months. I want to talk about Pakistan currently finds itself in a highly unique position in the region. On one hand, it has deployed substantial military assets to protect Saudi Arabia, but on the other hand, Islamabad is serving as the primary mediator in the Iran-US war, even helping broker a 6-week ceasefire between Washington and Tehran. How does Pakistan successfully balance its role as an unwavering protective ally to Riyadh while maintaining the diplomatic credibility required to be a neutral peacemaker in the region? From a Pakistani geopolitical perspective, is this dual role viewed as a triumph of our foreign policy?
You see my point that I have been taking you to the force of Pakistan's strategic priorities. Much as Pakistan looks to be upside down most of the time and a beggar state, as Indians like to call us, and dependent on IMF, which we do all the time. But the fact of the matter is, you're very right that Pakistan. They say, "Oh, where did this country appear in vacuum?" That is the background I was building up to. That is exactly the kind of thing. This is the answer to your question that I was building up to, that Pakistan has not been stranger in the room of disputes and hard affairs. When Afghanistan was invaded, Pakistan was not neutral like India. They did not recognize Babur Kamal government. They stood up and they showed their face. Valor and courage makes a big difference. Historically, Pakistan stands at the crossroads as one of the most volatile region in the world. We are not Sikkim, we are not Nepal, we are not Bangladesh, we are not south of India. For simple reason, we stand at the crossroads of Khyber Pass and Bolan Pass, GT Road, Grand Trunk Road, and Silk Road. Now you name it. You name these are the most important historical roads. Go back to 5,000 years and you see all the invasions. The most invaded passes in the world are Bolan Pass and the Khyber Pass. That's the beauty of it, that Pakistan is a hardened state. In the First World War, in the Second World War, 40% of the soldiers who were fighting for the Raj were Pakistanis, now Pakistanis, who were based in this region. So what I'm trying to say that this role that Pakistan have got is not because of the fact that Pakistan has been bestowed upon this role. There was nobody else in the region who could take that role. Coming back to the point I talked to you about, why did Pakistan get this role? Iran biggest relationship is with China. They used to export $500 million a day oil to China. That's $15 billion a month. That's $150 billion a year, or $200 billion. Who has a good relationship with China? The only person, and who suffers the most from Iranian blockade? Chinese. And who had the best relation with China? Pakistan. Who had a good relation with Iran? Because Iran and Pakistan are their eastern border, Iran eastern border and Pakistan western border is common, 900 miles. Pakistan is right at the center of Qum and Kandahar, two biggest orthodox regimes within the Islamic world. And Pakistan has to be there since 1979, facing these two volatile regions, maintaining its own sense of history and stability. So they had this great amount of character that they have good relation with Iran, and then they had an excellent relationship with Saudi Arabia, no two ways about it. And post Sindoor, unlike Biden, who was not ready to listen to Pakistan and had never trusted Pakistan, Pakistan was able to establish good relationship because after their withdrawal from Afghanistan, America wanted Pakistan to play a significant role in maintaining, for the homeland security, the southern border of Afghanistan. Pakistan played that role. In the first unofficial State of Union address, if you remember, President Trump credited Pakistan for providing him the head of the Desh Khorasani, which was very important. And hence, They also established a goodwill, although our own experts were telling us that Trump will come and on 25th of December, he will open the door of Adiala and take Imran Khan out. That was not the case. The point is that Pakistan army and its establishment and its leadership has maintained a very good relationship with America, have maintained a good relation with China, have maintained a good relationship with Saudis, have maintained a very good relationship with Iran as a person that who went and emphasized on that continuation of war, as you are saying, if 8th April ceasefire is one of the most significant ceasefire in the annals of latest human warfare in the last 40, 50 years. If that 8 April ceasefire would not have had happened, we would have seen a lot more damage to Iranian infrastructure and consequently Iranian retaliating against the GCC infrastructure. That would have been an intra-Sinai war between Islam and within intra Islamic wall. No one would have benefited from it. Iran was told that, listen, this is not going to work good for you. And they luckily accepted the fact. And at the last moment, they agreed on a ceasefire, which was 3 or 4 hours short of the deadline. And that ceasefire is still holding. And that day, market would have gone down $4 trillion. Market went up globally $4 trillion. Since then, nearly $6 trillion market capitalizations have added on. And that is, you call it 6 weeks, I call it now more than 8 weeks now, that this continuation of ceasefire is happening. War has literally stopped. Every other day, Trump magnanimously extends the destruction date for simple reason. Trump understands creating a vacuum, and that is something which Asim Munir met Trump in June 2025 at White House. Trump does not see chief of the army staffs of any nation. There's no, on a protocol basis, that is not required. Trump saw him, he left G7 meeting and he came. Modi was arriving and he left from Canada, came, saw Asim Munir, had a lunch with him, and after 2.5 hours issued a press statement that I am yielding to Pakistan. They understand Iran better than us. Asim Munir went through the entire history of Iran as well as Pakistan, as well as the region, emphasized on how important it is that this is a very important task, that Iran should not be dismantled the way Iraq was, de-Saddamization, or Afghanistan was. The vacuum that will be created will be immense. And that is what Pakistan played a role. Now you will say, oh, Iqbal, you're talking too much, there's a big role. I know it from the other side. Saudis also entrusted Pakistan with the same responsibility. And then Pakistan emphasized on Iran that, listen, you're not going to attack Saudi Arabia. You're not going to have these issues, what you're doing to other countries in the region. You are going to be very restrictive because we have a mutual defense treaty. They made it very clear. They were honest mediators and honest brokers. They told them, if you are going to do that, we will stand beside Saudi Arabia. There was no compromise on that. There was no two ways about it. And Iranians understood it. Iranians are very happy that if Pakistan takes care of the custody of the two most holy mosques, they don't want any Western powers to be there. They are very happy that if Pakistani army is there. Therefore, 8,000 people are very much welcome, even by Iran. And the Air Force is very much welcome. The King Abdulaziz base is right opposite, diagonally across Shiraz. There's no more than 300 I've been to this region. I've been to even Shiraz. I've walked through that. During the Iraq-Iran war, I've seen the road to Salamcha and on to Khurramshahr and Ahvaz. I've seen all. So for me, I can understand that Iran also is very pragmatic. Iran also doesn't want to be self-destroyed. They have within itself a lot of confusion. There's a radical part of the Iranian government who doesn't want to compromise. There's a civilian part of the government and economic realities that define that Iran should come down and have a compromise. So I think Pakistan's role has come out of the womb not as a mature baby. It has come out as a fully matured nation who has been able to do this because of its historical significance. Pakistan sits on the historical significance. Pakistan is benefited by all that. That is something that no one else can offer. There was nobody else who can play this role. I was asking with one of the sheikhs recently that what is the reason that you trust Pakistan so much? They said what they say they will do it. And on top of it, as I told you, post Sindoor, they also want the air sovereignty to be very much protected. And what Pakistan Air Force had shown in that multi-domain, multifaceted, multi-force experiment on 6 or 7 sometimes ambiguity is good. Pakistan was left in ambiguity. India had taken the control of the entire GCC. Everybody was giving credit to Mr. Modi that yes, India is the bulwark against China, and that was Biden has given them responsibility, bulwark the Quad. Quad was Australia, UK, America, and India, that they are going to take care of China. What they realized post Sindoor, because of this action, they realized Pakistan is a player to be reckoned with, that has to be reckoned with. Their relationship with China is excellent. The Chinese are extending their support of Pakistan, and that will create peace in this region. I am very positive. Post Sindhu, there will be no war. Post Sindhu, Mr. Modi has realized that this cold start project is gone, done, and dusted. It will take another 4 or 5 years before Indian Air Force is able to come back again with a new strategy. At the moment, they realize that it's much better that negotiations may happen and some kind of peace and Lahore negotiations, Lahore agreement may start again. I am very positive about it. So for me, this whole equation is not in vacuum. Most of the people think it's a luck. It's not a luck. It's historical strength of a nation. And what defines this time is valor, courage. Field Marshal Asim Munir's Banyanul Mursal said, listen, we will not allow you to do what you do. And I tell you, I have told you last time also, that they were told explicitly that please don't react to Sindoor. Just take the beating and keep quiet. This is a new normal. They refused it. And hence the new normal turned itself. And today, what India nightmare was strategic parity. Therefore, the whole idea that on 10th of May they were calling surrender of Pakistan, people have been arrested, Karachi port have been evaporated, Lahore port has been conquered, Islamabad has fallen. All this propaganda now is turned completely, and they see Pakistan establishing itself as a cardinal player within this Middle East region. Yes, I'm not saying Pakistan has become a top gun. Pakistan, because of its credibility, because of its ability to deliver with China, with America, with and good offices with Trump. And one of the things that I forgot to mention, I tell you, that meeting in June 2025 with Asim Munir established a rapport that got a long way. Trump trusts Pakistan Field Marshal and the Pakistani Prime Minister. There's absolutely no doubt. They've emerged as a responsible leadership. And that only because of the fact that post Sindhu, on 10th of May, when surrender of Pakistan was announced by the entire Indian media, led by Arnab Goswami, Major Goria, at the top of their voice, it was Trump, not Mr. Modi, who announced the ceasefire. And he announced the ceasefire because of the fact that things were going out of hand on the escalatory ladder of skirmishes were turning into real problems. And since then, since Trump announced it, Mr. Modi never thanked Trump because he could not bear to the fact that a foreign president, Mr. Trump, has announced the ceasefire where he should have. They say DGMOs agreed. Yes, DGMOs agreed. But President Trump announced it. Why did somebody else will announce a ceasefire which was to be announced by Mr. Modi if he had an upper hand? He didn't have an upper hand. They asked for it. And that resulted into a kind of a shaky schism between Trump and Modi, which has not been resolved still. He never talked, he never thanked, he never showed gratitude. Pakistan, on the other hand, Asif Munir as well as Mr. Shahbaz Sharif showed the gratitude, nominated him for Nobel Peace Prize, and what I think that saved the region from a catastrophic war, existential threat to Pakistan as well, to Pakistan, and that helped a lot. But also, brought outside to the world a very clear message that Pakistan has arrived in the sense it is a nation that will exist. It has existed for 77, 78 years. It's going to go forward and exist. And that is something, it's unbearable even for the Pakistani intellectual and intelligentsia, because they see things as sign of a luck. Even the pundits I hear on Indian television, they say, oh, it's because of their all the time they are, second fiddle to America. All the time they are second fiddle to China. I'd rather be a second fiddle to China. I'd be a second fiddle to America. I'd be a second fiddle to Iran. I'd be a second fiddle to Saudi Arabia. I have great relationship with Turkey. I have great relation with Turkmenistan. I have great relation with Malaysia. What else do you want in the town? And you have respect from Egypt. And then everyone comes and talks to you and say, okay, do the deal. And I was in New York. I tell you, I was in Apple Store, Opus Columbus Circle. And I tell you, three girls asked me, where are you from? I said, I'm from Pakistan. And they, can we have a photo? तो मैं कहना ये चाह रहा हूँ कि करेज और वैलर दुनिया में रिकग्नाइज किया जाता है। इसके ये जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है पाकिस्तान की, इसको आप मना नहीं कर सकते, इसको आप अंडरस्कोर नहीं कर सकते, इसको अंडरस्कोर करें, इसको आप अंडरमाइन नहीं कर सकते। आप ये यू कैन नॉट से ओ नथिंग हैपेंड, no, oh, it was a luck. And the biggest thing that I tell you, what people told me about Pakistan is that ability that they do it in complete secret. Nothing comes out. Nothing comes out. And that's the beauty of it. Even when they went to China and Henry Kissinger left Murray, left Rawalpindi in a PIA plane, no news came out. After 4 days, Washington announced in Washington that Henry Kissinger had met Mr. Chu Enlai, and they will be meeting soon. And Nixon and Mao Zedong met in 1972 and agreed a one China policy. That was the biggest stumbling block. So that's something extraordinary. Let's be honest, and that's you have to agree on it, and you have to appreciate. And you can whatever role Pakistan plays its role well, and that's very nice, and that's what we should continue to do. A government that takes care of quietening down the terrorist TTP, and you have taken down PLA, and it's not easy. Federations are not easy to continue. Nations are not made over 78 years. Yugoslavia fragmented. Soviet Union was a big federation of different nations, fragmented. So Pakistan has done extremely well, much as everyone tries to break it down, much as everyone thinks that this is not a workable state, but then a very unworkable state delivering something what they delivered is an extraordinary thing to be and place to be. And that is something that you can is indigestible. And also, as a student of history and a student of geography and a student of philosophy, which I very proudly try to be, because to be a student and reading things is one of the most important aspects of my life. I can tell you, nations, there are 192 nations, and right to be in the middle of a war and ability to get your strongest man in the world, President of the United States, to agree on a ceasefire, which no one ever thought it will happen the first week, and ability to stop a total destruction of Iranian infrastructure on 8th of April, and leading to a mutual destruction of the region, is an extraordinary contribution to the stability and peace of the world. If we can't even thank, keep quiet. If we can't even understand what makes a nation to do these things, it's not easy. If you can't even go into a village and there are people who try to negotiate between two warring tribes and they are unable to do it, here ability to do something like this with absolutely complete silence, ability to bring J.D. Vance, ability to bring Kushner and others to Pakistan, as well as the Iranian top leadership, ability next day to go after 2 days to the IRCG headquarters, Khatan Ambiya headquarters in Tehran, where no one is allowed to go in. No one to be trusted like that, to be able to find a solution, and then also to be able to put 8,000 soldiers in Saudi Arabia, to be able to put your 2 squadrons of GC-10s there, right in front of Shiraz, and then still be able be trusted, because telling them, listen, we know if things happen, you go wrong, we are with Saudi Arabia. We'll stand by them. We'll honor every agreement, every think what we have signed is honorable to us. But on the other hand, going ahead and be trusted because you're honest. And that is something no one can digest. You can continue to dance on your tails and continue to make every kind of a virtue you want, that, oh, Pakistan is not worthy of this kind of attention. You don't need to be worthy. You need to be credit worthy. And credit worthiness of it in political terms come when you have the power to bring the players who happen to be the call makers. And these call makers were for Iran, China, and China emphasizes a lot because imports Japanese imports come through the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world oil does flow through the Strait of Hormuz. And therefore, Chinese play a very big role. And Chinese also play a big role in the sense that they are depending on their 1 billion barrel oil that they have stored in their country, and they're drawing down from that reserves. But of honestly speaking, there's no doubt about it that Chinese want this blockade to finish, State of Hormuz blockade to finish, because they have already drawn down 12%. And yes, the World Oil Council has released 400 million barrel of oil extra, which is most 30% of that came from the US reserves. So maintaining the price to at $110. But I can tell you some good news. If and when Hormuz will open, and that will open soon, and because that is a fact, and I know it that war is a distant possibility now. I think 70-30 there'll be peace. 30% there is a chance that things may go out of hand, but I don't think so. I think the deal is done. But once the deal is done, once Hormuz opens, once they start, normalcy comes into play. Oil price will be less than $60 within 6 months. If the maybe lower, because new players will come in the market. Iran can come up with 4 to 5 million barrel. Under sanctions, they were selling it to China. Without sanctions, they can play their role big. Venezuelans are coming in the market, and there will be a lot of supply. And one of the biggest thing I wrote today, an article in my LinkedIn, I talked about the efficiency of oil. You know that we are using, America was using for its $3 trillion economy, 18 million barrel a day oil 22 years ago. Today, they are using the same 18 million barrel a day oil for its $32 trillion, 8 times bigger economy. 8 times bigger economy with the same consumption. We call it GDP per million barrel. The amount of GDP per million barrel have improved by 8 times. That is the kind of oil efficiency we are looking. We are seeing oil will go down in price in 10 years' time. I've written about it today because solar energy is replacing at God's speed. And also the oil peak theory that everyone used to talk about, we have used since that oil peak theory since 1982, 1.2 trillion barrel of oil is still. There used to be reserves of 600 billion barrel. Now the reserves are 1.8 trillion barrel. Oil has not finished. Oil has become more. And therefore, the age of oil, as Zakia Yamani used to call, will not finish because the oil will finish. Or Stone Age did not finish because stone finished. Oil age will finish because demand of oil will go down as we have alternate resources which are sustainable. That's the beauty of it. And therefore, I'm saying, as a whole, Saudis as well as GCC, as well as the Kuwaitis. Some Kuwaitis told me today, my friend, brother, I called him in the morning. He told me that even Kuwaiti defense minister has signed an agreement, and Pakistan Army and Air Force is going to Kuwait also. He told me they are already in Kuwait. Already in Kuwait. So they said this is a good deal. For every good measure, a security umbrella that you say of that nature in this unsure world for rich nations is a blessing in disguise. And if Pakistan can be that player who can provide that stability, I think that's very good. And I think we are also able to emphasize our point with Taliban. We were able to put them properly in their place. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan was put in place very nicely. And I think they have stopped their intrusion into Pakistan. BLA is on its last legs because basically Iranian bases of BLA have been totally destroyed, and the Iranians have cracked down on them. And I feel that commotion within Pakistan is going to see last of it, because I don't think the 9th May kind of activities will be able to be repeated. I think there's a credibility, there's a good momentum. And if this oil prices come down, and if the economy improves, and if there is some upside momentum as far as Pakistan is assisted in its oil program because of these defense deals that they have, and this mutual defense agreements that hope to expand to Qatar, Turkey, Egypt. There might be a small NATO kind of arrangements whereby there hopefully there will be peace. And once in a big change of OIC character, a toothless organization, I used to call it, there may be some bite in it, and they will be able to put down an intra-Islamic disputes, hopefully could be settled. This will be a great example if Iran and Saudi Arabia are brought together and their schism is softened and is diluted and is contained, and a new era starts. I think for our region, since 1978, 79, I'm in Kuwait. I've seen war. I've seen the war between Mr. Modi, Mr. Saddam Hussein and Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini that continued for 8 or 9 years. I wish those kind of wars may see the end of the days, and we may embark on a journey that may be stable and good for the region. And that peace and nice happening in the region after 1979 Islamic Revolution, where the key clarion call used to be Mark Bar America and export of revolution, will lead to better region. In my opinion, I see that things will become better. Maybe some people don't, but I'm an optimist.